Hey there. So I've been thinking about how developers drive a lot of the need for the cloud, and started thinking about how developers might be using Amazon Web Services in their development environment. And specifically, I'm thinking about Java developers. That got me thinking about Eclipse, common development tool environment for building Java applications. So there had to be, of course, the AWS Toolkit for Eclipse, right? Some way to let developers use AWS easily. And so there is. It's up on their website, amazon.com/eclipse. Pretty cool plugin. Now, I thought Eucalyptus talks about a high fidelity with the API, and that must mean that it would be pretty simple for us to get the AWS Toolkit to work with Eucalyptus. And I've got access to the EPC, so I thought I'd try that. So here I just want to show you a little bit about the AWS Toolkit and show you what is and isn't working with that toolkit pointed at the EPC. So there's the toolkit. It's open source. You want to browse the code, check it out. I had to do that in order to figure out exactly how to make the config work. But there it is up on GitHub. So we start with Eclipse, and you walk through the instructions for how to install the toolkit. It's really very simple. So once you get the toolkit installed, you have access to this AWS management perspective, and you can see all the different services that you can have access to, that you can manage from your Amazon environment. So in this case, here's EC2. I can look at a bunch of AMIs. Ta-da! And I could even pick any given AMI, and let's say I'll see something like I don't know. The point is, I just want to show you can pick an AMI and you can say launch, and you can choose things like the micro size and where you want it to run, and all the kinds of normal settings you'd expect, including things like user data. So super cool, very easy for developers to spin up, one or 40 or however many they want. Same thing would be true for them to manage and monitor their instances, EBS, browse their S3 environment. So I'm going to look at our Eucalyptus Pale and all these other services, which of course we don't yet support, but we may one day. So I just want to focus a little bit on EC2 and S3 in the context of working with Eucalyptus. So neat environment, lots of ways to work with the tool. A couple other things I want to show you. Amazon's made it really easy for folks to begin developing applications that are designed for running in AWS. So if you haven't played with this plugin before, it's pretty cool to check out. So if I want to build an AWS project, right, AWS Java project or a web project, I get to choose all the different services. It's fascinating anyway for developers, I think, who are targeting specifically Amazon and want to use any number of services. Okay, big deal. What does this mean for Eucalyptus? Well, for Eucalyptus, it would mean that we should be able to create a space where developers could very easily be building their applications and spin up instances on Eucalyptus and deploy their applications into those instances, etc. So the way to get this to work with Eucalyptus is to tweak out the config. And so that's actually pretty simple, as it turns out. So in the workspace directory under metadata plugins, Amazon Eclipse core, there's the regions directory. Open up the regions file, regions.xml. And here you see we can identify a region. We'll call it ours the EPC cloud. I gave it some system name of EPC West. And you can choose which services this particular region supports. For our purposes, S3 and EC2 are the primary. I know there's support for IAM, but I didn't do that in my evaluation here. You can see that that's a much shorter set of services than, let's say, what shows up in US East, Amazon's environment. Naturally, they've got a whole host of services that they support. Notice that the Gov Cloud has only a few services, very much like Eucalyptus right now has just a few services. Anyway, configure the service endpoints here, S3, EC2. And then in the Eclipse interface, when you've made that region available and you bounce Eclipse, it actually then allows you to see it. You can choose it as one of the regions here. So I can choose the EPC cloud, and you'll see how it updates to just the 2 services that we support. These are not yet this is not yet refreshed to show the EPC, and that's because I haven't set my credentials. So the other thing I have to do is set my credentials. Here I'll go to my EPC account, which I've set earlier. Access key, secret key, easy stuff. I'm going to get rid of that, and I just want to show you under EC2, we're able to look at the instances. So we'll see a few of these NPEs show up. This will continue to recur. This is part of the challenge that we have right now, perhaps with fidelity, perhaps with some other bug. I'm not quite sure. But you can see that I had previously spun up an instance on EPC, and I can see that instance here. Unfortunately, I think due to the bug, I'm not able to do anything with this instance. But at least I know that it's visible. Other things that I do know will work. If I look at security groups, I can see here's my default security group, and I can add permissions to it. Right. Oh. Pick a port, my network mask, and it goes. Let me nuke that. So here's that new port that I added to the default group. In fact, if I look at Hybrid Fox, security groups, default, there's the 7631 that I just added there. I can view, I can create new security groups. I can modify security groups. That's all functioning from this toolkit. And even with EBS, I can view the volumes and snapshots. And in fact, I could even create a snapshot of one of these volumes. Okay, currently it appears that the S3 part doesn't work. And if we look at the log, I'll just tail the log here. We're having some issue connecting to the to the S3 service through the Walrus service. Possibly a misconfiguration. I'm not sure. I've just not been able to get this thing to get connected to Walrus. And like I pointed out earlier, an AMI list doesn't show up. There seems to be some issue with the information that we're getting back, or how it's being interpreted by the plugin. So I haven't investigated why that's the case. And then instances, which is partially functioning. I mean, I can see the list of running instances, but you can see we get this NPE anytime anytime this Eclipse plugin goes to get the list of running instances. So it seems like we're pretty close, and it'd be killer if we could get this AWS plugin for Eclipse to work against Eucalyptus. I'm imagining making it very easy for developers to grab like Silvereye and run a really small little cloud, use Eclipse, which they're probably using anyway. Maybe they're already using the AWS plugin, and get them to now develop an application targeted specifically for Eucalyptus. And I think it'd be awesome if we could then show how they could easily take that application and deploy it in AWS. Or for anybody who's already doing AWS development, for simple applications that are only using EC2 and S3 to get them to easily deploy that application in Eucalyptus would be a killer case study. Just would love to see this thing functioning. Also, it'd be great proof of our high fidelity with the Amazon APIs. I think this has got a lot of potential. I'm really excited about it. I like already how much is working. I'd love to see the rest of it being fully functional. Hey, thanks for your time.